All right, let's dive into a story that you probably think you know, O. Henry's The Gift of the Magi. But I'm going to tell you, underneath that cozy, sentimental surface, there's a seriously radical idea about love, about value, and what it really truly means to be wise.
You know, the best place to start is with the man himself. O. Henry is basically telling us, look, I wasn't trying to be witty or clever here. He just wanted to capture something real, something honest about devotion, the kind that's messy, impractical, and definitely not for show. It's like he's asking us, can you still recognize wisdom when it shows up looking like poverty and just plain bad luck?
So, at its core, the story's setup is super simple. You've got Della and Jim. They each have one thing they treasure more than anything. For Della, it's her incredible hair. For Jim, it's his family's gold watch. But with Christmas breathing down their necks and no money, they're each pushed into a corner to make a choice that's going to change everything.
Okay, let's get right into the thick of it, because the story immediately throws this puzzle at us. A real paradox about love and what makes a gift truly count. This is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Jim and Della give each other gifts that are, let's be honest, complete and utter failures. A beautiful chain for a watch that's gone. A set of expensive combs for hair that's been chopped off. So how in the world can O. Henry turn around and call them the wisest of all?
And this is where it gets really interesting. The story splits success into two different categories. Materially, yeah, the gifts are a bust. But morally, they're an absolute triumph. They scream, I see you, and I value you more than my most precious thing. So the wisdom here isn't about some strategic 4D chess move. It's about being totally, completely in sync with someone else's heart.
Now, this whole idea of moral success actually leads us down a path to a much more unsettling question about their love.
I mean, really think about this for a second. This isn't a feel-good story about getting more stuff. It's a story about subtraction. Hair gets cut, a watch gets sold. Their love isn't shown by adding something new, but by giving something up. So, what's that all about?
And this is where the story just flips the script on conventional wisdom. As you can see, it pits two completely different worldviews against each other. The world's logic says you create value by accumulating things, getting more, more, more. But the story's logic is the exact opposite. It says true value comes from divestment. Love isn't proven by what you can get. It's proven by what you're willing to lose.
And O. Henry himself basically confirms this for us. He's saying, look, he wasn't trying to write about some warm, fuzzy feeling. He was writing about love as a choice, as a decision you make when your back's against the wall. It's easy to love when things are good. This story is about what you do when love actually costs you something.
Okay, so this all leads us to this beautiful central twist in the story. This wild idea that total, complete failure can somehow be the ultimate success. And we have to start by just stating the cold, hard fact. The watch chain is for a watch that doesn't exist anymore. The combs are for hair that's lying on a salon floor. In one word, the gifts are absolutely, positively useless. But here's the magic. Watch how that failure transforms. It's like a three-step chemical reaction. First, you get the material failure. The gifts don't work. But that failure is the trigger for step two. The intention is revealed. They suddenly see the sacrifice the other person made. And that revelation, it leads directly to the payoff. Step three, moral fulfillment. Their love is no longer just a feeling, it's a proven fact. So you see, the crucial point is this. The gifts were never really about the objects themselves. Their real job was to be a catalyst for revelation. The second they both understand what the other has done, the physical things just dissolve. They become irrelevant, and all that's left hanging in the air is pure, undeniable love.
And this brings us to the story's grand finale, its biggest claim, where O. Henry connects the dots between this young couple's seemingly foolish choices and the deepest kind of wisdom there is.
The story basically lays two different definitions of wisdom on the table and asks us to choose. On one side, you've got worldly wisdom, which is all about foresight, planning, getting ahead, and winning. But then there's the wisdom of the Magi, and that's made of completely different stuff. Devotion, sacrifice, and a kind of love that doesn't bother to calculate the odds.
And right here, this is maybe the most powerful idea in the whole story. O. Henry is suggesting that true wisdom isn't about seeing the future, it's about seeing the present correctly. It's right sight. It's that flash of clarity where you recognize what truly, truly matters. And for Jim and Della, in that one moment,
What mattered more than anything else was each other. Period.
So we get the story's logic. It's beautiful. It's powerful. But so what? What does any of this mean for us, right here, right now?
I mean, let's face it. We live in a world that is obsessed with optimization and life hacks for our careers, our health, even our relationships. So where does this inefficient, impractical, go-for-broke kind of love even fit in anymore? Is it just a sweet old story?
But here's a wild thought. Maybe, just maybe, this story is more relevant now than it's ever been. In our culture of performance, where every single gesture can be curated and posted for an audience, a love that happens off-camera, a love that's unrecorded, inefficient, and invisible, that becomes a truly radical act. Its power is in the fact that it isn't for show. So, when we boil it all down to its final truth, we have to be honest. Their love doesn't win. Not in any way the world would recognize. They don't get rich, they don't solve their problems.
In fact, it doesn't even work. Not practically. The gifts completely backfire. Their grand gestures leave them with a net loss of their most beloved possessions.
But the one thing their love does, with absolute perfect clarity, is it chooses. In that single moment of pressure, with everything on the line, it chooses the other person. No hesitation, no guarantees, it just chooses.
And that leaves us with the story's final, haunting question. And it isn't for Jim and Della, it's for us. When love demands a real sacrifice, when it costs you something tangible that you can never, ever get back, do you still call it love? That's the challenge the gift of the Magi leaves us with, and that's exactly why it endures.